How's it going, everyone? I want to take you guys through some updates on a hotly anticipated free PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 game, The First Descendant. This is a game that I think is going to do really well, and one of those live service titles that's getting a lot of buzz ahead of its release just a few weeks away. Yes, this is dropping on July the 2nd, and some of the endgame content for that has been detailed. We'll talk about that. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition on PlayStation 5 looks to be released fairly soon. And Cult of the Lamb details its free co-op update. We'll talk that in just a little bit. Right off the top, developer Nexon Games has discussed The First Descendant's endgame content and activities to keep you coming back to a sci-fi looter shooter. So, obviously, with a live service game, the whole idea is to keep you engaged, keep you invested into the long term. And let me say this about First Descendant, based on the buzz that I am reading for this game and the excitement level it feels like people have, I think this game is going to peak at a very high level when it initially drops on July the 2nd. Now, as we know, when it comes to these live service games, peaking at a high number doesn't really matter all that much. Look at a game like Halo Infinite. That game peaked staggeringly high, and it tapered off after a while. The whole idea of these games is to keep you invested for a long period of time, and Nexon Games has detailed some of the elements that will keep you engaged into the game as a part of its endgame, noting we've prepared a wide range of endgame content to provide diverse combat experiences and the joy of character growth. That is coming from lead game designer Jung-Soo Sung-woo, who explained ahead of First Descendant's release. Before diving into the endgame of The First Descendant, the senior combat designer recommends taking the time to unlock a few different characters in the co-op component as well. Some missions are so engaging that playing them just once for the sake of story progression might not be enough. If that's the case, you can team up using matchmaking if needed, or you can play with your buddies for the challenging infiltration missions. These offer increasingly higher difficulty where more rewards are offered. These rewards change at regular intervals, meaning that if you hate a particular mission, you won't be forced to replay it to farm a specific gear piece, so that's going to be quite nice. It was noted on PC Games and on top of the increased default difficulty, infiltration missions also allow you to stack additional modifiers on top in return for a bonus to your score. These are mostly simple adjustments such as tank your enemies or incoming damage. Noting if you are a true looter shooter expert, I recommend you add all the challenge options when starting. Also, they detail the Void Intercept battles, noting the Void Intercept battles are some of the most exciting combat content that you can encounter in The First Descendant. We recommend trying various tactics that you can imagine to defeat them. Teamwork with party members is a crucial element in some Void Intercept battles. While they're not easy to clear, you will feel immense satisfaction upon completion. There's more details in the PC Games N article, so I'll leave that in the description box below. Again, First Descendant is a totally free-to-play title, and there's a lot of details that have dropped for the game. And hopefully the game does keep players engaged because, again, I think it's going to peak immensely high. Like, you look at this game from a technical standpoint and the gameplay style that it is, it's going to have a healthy level of interest right out the gate. But where it really settles, 4 months after release, 6 months after release, that'll give you a better idea. Like, Helldivers 2 was a huge game that dropped earlier this year, but the thing about Helldivers 2 is that it's sustained a healthy level of interest, and that comes down to content being rolled out consistently and the content being rather engaging. A looter shooter has the problem of redundancy, and hopefully First Descendant can buck that trend. It's a third-person looter shooter powered by Unreal Engine 5. You'll become a Descendant and you'll have all of a different variety of characters to play as, and hopefully that'll add a little bit of depth and engagement to the gameplay. Again, that'll be dropping on July the 2nd. Moving on from that, Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition, the release of that seems to be imminent. I hate talking about Beyond Good and Evil because it just seems like this is an IP that, I don't know if we'll ever get the sequel, and that's really what we talk about. Now, a trophy list has appeared for the game, which can be viewed on tracking sites like Exophase. More often than not, if a trophy list appears for the game, chances are the release is gonna happen shortly thereafter. And Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition is more of a game that, you know, it's a re-release, so it's not like it's gonna have this gigantic marketing push. Rather, it's going to probably get a launch trailer and then be out very quickly thereafter. That's generally how those things work when it comes to re-release. But Beyond Good and Evil is one of those games that commercially was seemingly a disaster when it initially came out, but over time it has really developed that cult following over the years, and it's a beloved game by many. Beyond Good and Evil 2 obviously has been revealed. I highly am doubtful that that game is even going to come out. You know, Beyond Good and Evil 2 literally broke the record held by Duke Nukem Forever for the longest development period of a AAA game, and it's been over 15 years, you know, and there's been a lot of things going on with that game. I can't imagine it's actually ever gonna come out. It hasn't been canceled, but, you know, we'll see if that ultimately ever comes to fruition, so there you go with that. Lastly, I do want to note that Cult of the Lamb, Unholy Alliance, that free update will be dropping on August the 12th. Summoned during the Devolver Direct presentation, Unholy Alliance is the latest free update for the smash hit Cult of the Lamb, introducing a new playable character, the Goat. Summoned by blood and born in corruption, this wicked new ally can join the Holy Lamb in local co-op action, crusade through dungeons, slay heretics, build your cult, and seek new powers together on August the 12th. Experience the entire Cult of the Lamb campaign in local co-op with one player inhabiting the role of the Lamb and the other taking on the mantle of the Goat. Enjoy new two-player twists on existing minigames like fishing and knucklebones, and choose from a selection of corrupted weapons, tarot cards, curses, and relics as you embark on co-op crusades. The Lamb and the Goat can swap weapons, deal extra damage when fighting back-to-back, or deal a critical hit if their attacks are in sync. Solo players also get a heap of new powers and abilities to play with, as well as the addition of cooperative play. The Unholy Alliance expansion also adds new tarot cards, relics, buildings, follower traits, follower quests, and other secrets to discover. Cult of the Lamb is available on all major platforms: PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, X1, Switch, and PC, and it's been generally a really well-received game going back to its initial release back in August of 2012. 67,000 Steam reviews, and 94% of those reviews are positive, so just shy of that overwhelmingly positive threshold that most games try to go for when they're released on Steam, but still an immensely well-received game. And that is going to do it for me. Again, the first Descendant, I think, is going to be a game that does very well, at least right out the gate. Sustainability is always the question mark when it comes to these games and where it's going to settle at. Like, Helldivers 2 peaked at, I want to say, over 400,000 players. That's a great peak, but the more impressive element of that game is that it's stabilized at 80 to 90,000 players consistently on Steam, sometimes over 100,000, and that's just on Steam. Obviously, the game's on PlayStation as well, but I know that, you know, on the surface level, dropping from 400k to 100k sounds like a disaster. It's actually not, because most games drop very significantly, but if you settle at 100,000 concurrent players, that's actually a really healthy number to be at, because guess what? A lot of games come out, people get tired of games. It's a cyclical business where things come out, things pop off, things calm down. I mean, Palworld was over 2 million players, now look at it. You know, these things happen, and hopefully First Descendant can find a level of sustainability. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition release is seemingly imminent, as a trophy list has popped up, and Cult of the Lamb getting a free expansion in Unholy Alliance on August the 12th. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.